Hello coders, welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to declutter your VS Code and sort of give it a minimalistic touch. We're focusing on boosting your productivity by reducing distractions and making your coding environment more focus friendly. So I've particularly used these settings for over 2 years now, and I literally can't go back to using VS Code the default way again. I found them really helpful for me, and I hope you find them helpful too. So let's dive right in. So first thing first, you will notice that my sidebar is on the right. I particularly like it on the right. We normally read from left to right as humans, and then it sort of helps that way because it keeps you focused on the code, and then you can toggle it whenever you want or not. So the command I use for toggling it to open or not is Command B. Use Command B, toggle it or not. But once I moved it to the right, it took a while to get used to it, but ever since then, I cannot move it back to the left. I really love it on the right. You should try it too. So the settings for doing this is workbench.sidebar.location right. So set this to the right and you have that on the right. Good. The next thing you will notice about my VS Code is that I do not have Minimap enabled. So Minimap is turned off. So you see here, editor.minimap enabled is false. Now, if I turn this back on and say true, what you will notice here is that once I turn this back on and it says true, what you notice here that you have this sort of bird's eye view of your code, but it can be distracting, really, because in many ways it's not necessarily helpful. Previously, I used to use it to sort of like to scroll down to where like I have like errors or stuff like that, or if I want to run to the top of my code, but I don't need that anymore, and I just completely turn it off. So false makes this so much better. False is gone. So the next thing is font ligatures. Font ligatures are always turned on to true. So if you have a font that supports ligatures, it sort of makes your code more nicer looking, more readable, and all of that. So font ligatures basically, so let me switch this font now and I can show you. If I switch this one back to Cascadia code, you will notice the way my ampersands are for conditionally checking two variables. You see and here you see not equals to how it looks like here, and you see even the arrow function, see how it looks like. So the font ligatures basically stylize parts of your code with fonts that support doing that. So it just makes your code a little more readable and nice, and you can tell, okay, this is this, this is that, and that's all. Next up is format on save, format on paste, format on type. Basically, this is really helpful and powerful. So this works best when you have a default formatter set. So right now, default formatter here is Prettier. I'm sure you should know Prettier by now, but if you don't know it, give Prettier a try. It's really awesome. So what I do is on save, I format, on paste, I format, on type, I format. So let me show you what this looks like in action, right? So let's say by formatting, this last semicolon is supposed to stand on a new line. If I put it on this other line and hit Command S, it automatically formats back to the next line. That's what format on save is like. If I were to copy this piece of code again, right? Okay, so let me make this format look really bad, and yeah, like this, and then I copy this piece of code. Yeah, if I were to paste it again down below, on paste you see it automatically formats and goes back to the next line. That's format on paste. At the same time, same thing goes for format on type. So let's say I have these and I want to do this. I have this here and I say, okay, I set active ID and I say null, and then yeah, on type that automatically formats too. So format on save, format on paste, format on type, really helpful. This tree really helpful. Then the next one is word wrapping. So word wrap column set at 72 points. So basically this is the parts of the editor that makes your code fall to the next line. It's really helpful, particularly if you don't want your code to be flowing from end to end and you have to scroll to see more of it. So let me give you an example. Okay, I am writing a long comment. Good. So you'll notice that when it gets to this end of the line, it moves to the next line, because at these 72 point, I've said it should wrap to the column. And this only works when you set your editor the word wrap to bounded. It's really important. So if I increase this from 72 to say 96, you'll notice that yeah, you see there's more bits of my code going here. But if I don't even do this at all, If I don't do this at all and I don't set this to bounded, you see that my comments just keep flowing inside and I have to scroll to see the rest of it, and that's not really nice. So set it to bounded and set it to 72. 72 is also the default that comes in your terminal by default. So that's why you see when you write stuff on your terminal, they don't run from the start to the end and they fall to the next line. So yeah, editor.column word wrap, yeah, 72. So the other setting that is really important is Zen mode. Yeah, so whenever you're in Zen mode, you want to fully focus. I don't like Zen mode being in full screen, because whenever it's in full screen, I can't see this top menu bar, and I don't like that. So I set Zen mode to false. That's it. But if you set Zen mode to true, and then when you do go here and view and you go to appearance and you go to Zen mode, you see now you're on Zen mode and you lose the display of your menu bar at the top. So I don't like that. And yeah, I just turned that off. So that's what this one does. So set Zen mode to false. Now, the very big controversial one is line numbers. So let me show you. Editor.line numbers off. I do not like my line numbers being on because I feel in a way they clutter my editor experience. So when I turn it on, see what they look like. Don't like that. Doesn't look nice. So I turn it off. But now, this is where line numbers are really helpful. Line numbers are helpful when you're doing like pair programming code reviews, because then it's easier for you to, like when you're sharing your screen and pair programming your colleague, they can say, hey, there's something on line 100 and something, on line 80 something, on line 20. Take a look at line this. Yeah, really helpful. So I do toggle it on whenever I'm pair programming or doing code reviews, but outside of that, I keep it turned off. And then at the same time, when you're debugging and you have errors on your local host, like the frameworks we use today are really powerful to the point that they can expertly tell you where the error is. So I find out that I don't really need to know the line number for that, and that works. Yeah, so editor the line number off. And this one is very big. So it's called clipboard or empty selection. So if I search here clipboard, yeah, good. Editor of empty selection clipboard. I turn this to false. This is because it's very annoying sometimes when you copy a piece of code and you want to press Command V after copying it to paste, but instead of Command V, you mistakenly then press Command C. So let's say I copy this piece of code, right? So let's say I even cut it away from here, right? And I come here and I want to like paste it here with Command V, paste here, right? But let's say I mistakenly press Command C, because the letter C and V are very close to each other on the keyboard. So let's say I mistakenly press Command C instead of Command V. Without this settings turned off, what will happen here is that this would copy an empty selection to your clipboard, and then you lose what you have previously copied before, and that's very annoying. So when you turn this off, the experience is really better. Yep, yeah. So the other setting is quick suggestion delay. So let me show you this. Good. Editor of quick suggestion delay, set it to 0 milliseconds, right? So now we know when you're typing stuff in your editor, and then let me say it starts to show you suggestions. So yeah, good. Starts to show you suggestions. These suggestions have a default delay that is greater than 0. And in my head, if you call something quick, like why do you still have to delay it? So setting this to 0 milliseconds makes the suggestions show up way much faster. It just shows up at the speed of thought, like at the point you're typing it, it just shows up. So this is really helpful. And then the big one is this node modules. So yeah, this is the big one. Yep, good. Files.watcher exclude, search exclude, and files exclude. So if you notice here, one folder that is constantly common here is node modules. I exclude node modules from my files, exclude it from search, exclude it from files, and from watching too. So what this means is that if you open your folders or the file explorer here, you will never see the node modules folder here, right? So that means in case you need to search for something and all of that, you don't mistakenly have to be dealing with, because your node module folders is freaking long. Like it's so long, has a lot of packages in it, and then it doesn't help when you're trying to search for something, you mistakenly select the node modules folder and then you have to scroll all the way down. It's not really helpful and not really nice. The other thing that's helpful is search. So if you ever search for something, so let's say you come to the sidebar, right, and you decide to search for something and you say hello, like you do not want an instance when you're searching this, like it then goes ahead to search your node modules folder too. That's really crazy. Number one, it makes the whole VS Code slow because the search has to like go through your whole node models folder, index it, and all of that. And at the same time, it's not really helpful for you. So just turn it off, and I turn off a bunch of other things too. So this is really helpful. I do not do without this. Yeah, this is really helpful. So files or watcher exclude, search.exclude, and files or exclude. That's it really. That's it. Your minimalistic productivity enhanced VS Code is ready to go. So you will notice the difference immediately. It might be very tricky to adjust. It might take some time to adjust. But remember that these suggestions have worked for me, and they might not like work the same for everyone, but feel free to adjust based on what you like or based on your own workflow. And if you've enjoyed this video, please like, share, subscribe for more coding tips. Happy coding.